Hello, DevOps friends. Welcome to the Monospace Office Hour. I am Jochen, the Monospace mentor. No, I didn't just find enlightenment. I actually found enlightenment many years ago, but I found it far too flashy as a window manager. So yeah, that's that. Welcome to the office, to my office hour. On Fridays, I always do a office hour where I do nothing but answer questions. Imagine that. I don't have to prepare anything except my usual streaming stuff, and it's up to you which topics we are going to discuss today. And I'm excited to see what you're going to come up with. And in order to ask your questions, please join us on the Q&A platform. You can join us on qa.monospacementor.com. It's anonymous. You don't have to create an account. You don't have to leave your email address or your name. It's completely anonymous. So feel free to join us there, because that'll allow me to pick questions from your questions. You can even upvote other questions if you want to. And that way I can also highlight what we are talking about at the moment, which will make it easier for people who just are joining the stream. I hope everyone's good. It's Friday. For me, it's actually FFF Friday, which means Fun, Family and Friends Friday. That's something we have at my company, where we get every last Friday of the month off to spend with loved ones, or simply with ourselves and in peace and quiet. Whatever people want to do, they can. And so I've been enjoying a pretty relaxed day so far, even though I did have a call with my business partner. We discussed Discourse, the forum platform, which is only getting better year over year. And I'm looking forward to see Discourse as a community and customer happiness platform at my company. And I also consider I'm also considering Discourse as a potential community platform for my stream and my teaching business, monospacementor.com. Yeah, Discourse is still pretty nifty, and if you have any experience with using Discourse, if you are part and member of a Discourse forum for an open source project or something like that, I would value your input and your feedback if you would recommend going that route, or maybe picking something else. We'll see about that. And yeah, so if there's anything that you can contribute to this topic, feel free to pop into chat and let me know. And again, for questions, I'll simply be monitoring the Q&A platform, which you can join at qa.monospacementor.com. And here is the place where your questions are going to pop up, and where I am going to select the question that I'm going to answer next. Until then, I'm simply going to have a little bit of tea. I have to grab that with my right hand, because my left hand tends to shake if I carry stuff that is easy to spill. I know, my man. Hello, welcome to the stack. I hope you're having a great Friday. Actually, I considered picking up your question, or the topic that we had last night in the Monospace Discord, where we were talking about the MVC pattern. And yeah, I think that's also quite worth a visit. So I'll be waiting for a few more minutes to see if there are any questions on Vvox, and if not, then I'll simply start talking about the MVC pattern. Let me fix my layout here a little bit, because the info banner here overlaps. Let me go to studio mode, and the info scene, and the QA group needs to go a little bit higher. Something like that. And that's that. Good. Yes, I can see that the overlay also overlaps with the ticker, so we'll have to fix that in post after the stream. For the time being, I'll simply switch to the other scene here. That's better. Does the office hour command work now? Huh, strange. Didn't work earlier, but yeah, sometimes stream elements seems to be a little bit flaky. Okay, we'll keep the Q&A list in one eye while oh, look at that. Just when I was about to switch scenes.
Subs in launch mode. We are at DEFCON 1. DEFCON 1.
TBD Gamer, that's awesome. Thank you for the raid. I hope you had a great stream. I'm doing great. I just started my office hour, where I'm answering questions around system administration, Ruby coding, and stuff like that. Hey, Stupak, how you doing? Yeah, so I just launched my Q&A platform, which you can join anonymously at qa.monospacementor.com, and here you can post your questions. I'll pick your questions and try to come up with a at least marginally coherent answer. And so if you want to leave your questions at qa.monospacementor.com, you don't need to create an account or anything. It's really, really easy and simple. And yeah, TBD Gamer, what did you do today? Let's see. Give you a shout out, TBD Gamer, aka awesome streamer colleague. Hey Shromp, how you doing? Welcome to the stack. It's nice having all of you over here. Stupagaster, did your family love their trip? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Amazingly so. So I was, of course, I was excited for my kids to go to Peru over the Christmas holidays, but they did spend 3.5 weeks over there, and it's a different country, it's a different culture, it's a different language, which is all great, and that's why I was a little bit bummed out that I couldn't join them there, but I decided to rather take the holidays to get some rest. I had to prioritize that. So when they came back, I was half expecting at least the kids to be a little bit exhausted, or that having lost motivation halfway through, or something like that. But no, they enjoyed every day and made new friends and had a lot of fun. New friends, both in humans and in pets. I have to say it definitely was worth the cost, yeah, I'm really sad that it didn't work out for me to join them there. Ivan the Raging Python, hello, welcome to Full Stack Live. Hello to the Monospace Office Hour, where we will be collecting questions on qa.monospacementor.com, and I'll try and ask to answer them to the best of my ability. Acer Sign wrote, "Hi there, TBD Gamer wrote the code and we watched it. We are having a great time." That's awesome. That's awesome. I think it's a great thing having these live coding streams where people can join, even though you would probably be often faster if you did it in your own little cave. But having people around to have a chat and to give hints or make suggestions and stuff like that is something I thoroughly enjoy, and that's why I try to not miss any of my scheduled streams either. Exactly, way more fun to collaborate and talk about stuff. It's definitely not wasted time, and yeah, that's something that I've been enjoying for years now, and hope I'll do so for many more years. So let's get to questions, shall we? You can not only ask questions on the QA platform, you can even use these thumbs up icons to upvote other questions if you find them interesting, and so you can boost them so they get answered first. But let's start where we started off. Question was, what do you do when you get bored of the tech stack at work? That's a good thought, actually. Last year I did actually find myself in that situation, in part because we... Acer Sarhin, welcome to the stack. How nice of you to follow the channel. Thank you. So yeah, a few years ago we incurred quite a bit of tech debt, and we are still digging ourselves out of that hole. We got a good way ahead, but there's still a lot of stuff that we need to do. And since that takes a lot of coding time or engineering time in general, design and all that stuff, we didn't make much progress in terms of new product features or new technologies that we could use. I'm thoroughly interested in putting Docker to better use in our managed hosting platform, for example. But that just wasn't the time to do experimenting and things like that. And so that actually put quite a dent in my motivation to deal with that stuff, because of course I thrive from learning myself. If I don't learn, I get bored, and if I get bored, I do a bad job. And yeah, that wasn't a very pleasant experience, to be honest. And what I do is try and find at least a little bit of time to experiment with a few things, spin up a Docker container or something with Docker Compose and see how it works. Maybe if it's just for my home lab here, where I try out a new photo hosting solution that would make me more independent from iCloud and things like that. So just doing, or even setting up my own home lab server in the first place, for example, that was a great experience that I had at the end of last year, where I got myself a pretty great used Dell workstation. I think it's called the what is it called? The model number is 5820. I'm not sure if it's called Infinity or something like that, or maybe I'm confusing that with SGI machines. Anyway, so I got myself such a 5820 from 2018, so it probably just went out of use at a company that was using those machines for 5 years, and then they went to a refurbishment place and got resold, and I got that for pretty cheap. But it still has a very capable Xeon CPU in there, can be extended up to a 0.5 terabyte of RAM, has 4 hot swap hard disk slots, and all these nifty features. And I did thoroughly enjoy setting up Proxmox on that machine, and my own NAS with 18 terabytes of disk space using TrueNAS. So yeah, doing experiments like that lifts my spirits definitely, and that also gave me motivation to get back at the more tedious work, getting rid of our legacy stuff, and in the hopes of soon being able to do more R&D for new stuff as well. That's how I get myself to get back some motivation and a little bit of energy. Hope that answers your question. Oh, look, there's a question that hits the same space. Could you give me some advice regarding the loss of motivation with programming or at work? I'm a software engineer. One idea could be simply try something that's completely different. Having a hobby that's not related to tech sometimes helps getting the urge back to do something with the keyboard again. But other than superficial tips like that, I would encourage you to try and actually try and uncover the root cause of your demotivation. Hage Mendoza, welcome to the stack. Thanks for following. Yeah, so if you have a quiet minute, ask yourself, why is that? Why is something that I made my profession, that I probably, I'm assuming here, am pretty passionate about usually, why is that something that's not appealing right now? Is there something in my personal life? Is there something at work that soured my relationship with engineering? Things like that. Try and uncover that. Don't necessarily mean get some therapy, which would help too. I have experienced a lot of benefits from going to therapy, which I started end of last year, and I'm looking forward to having my first session this year on Monday. But it's not necessarily required to do that. Sometimes it's just taking a walk somewhere in peace and quiet and asking yourself, what is it that is weighing on me, or that took the fun out of programming. That's actually what I did when I lost motivation, when I realized I've planned doing some infrastructure work today, but I can't be bothered. And then I realized, why is that? That's your job. You're the CTO. You are responsible for getting your infrastructure in gear to finally get rid of that technical debt and all these things. If you are not motivated, how can you expect your team to be? And so I dug a little deeper and found, it's because I don't get to fun stuff anymore. It's just taking old code and trying to modernize it, and realizing that it breaks at every corner, and it's also tedious, and in the end it's just the same functionality, but now it's working with more modern technology and is more maintainable, which is nice, but it's not groundbreaking either. So that helped me to overcome that hump or that dip, and that would be something that I think is worth spending a little bit of thinking time on. Carl, hello! Welcome to Full Stack Live. Nice of Stupak to carry over. If you like, and you want me to go a little bit further with that question, maybe you can make it more concrete and add a little bit of information, and I'll try to see if I can come up with a more practical answer. Very practical question here. I get busy with life and sometimes neglect my home lab / services and don't always update right away. How do you manage software updates? Do you update frequently? Usually we do, except if the update is only the end result of a long process. Rube Goldberg machine of changes was in part what got us so deeply into technical debt. But the best answer about that is automated. There are applications that can do unattended upgrades, and for all the services that can easily be upgraded, I recommend enabling unattended upgrades for that. If there are things that might break if you update them, or have the bad effect of getting restarted when they get updated, and you don't want to have random restarts during the day while you're using stuff, then exclude them, but auto-update as much as possible, and maybe even automate the reboots as well, so that new kernel versions get enabled right away. Everything that you automate, you don't have to think about anymore, and that will take care of most of the stuff that needs to be done. What do I use for automating? On my home lab, where it's not yet necessary to go through to get the big guns out, it's a mix of shell scripts and Ansible playbooks. I've started to automate a few things using Ansible, but really only a few. So most of the stuff that is done via shell scripts and cron jobs. At work, we use Chef to automate hundreds of Linux servers, and for that amount of infrastructure, that's definitely worth the effort. In a home lab situation, I would rather use something more homegrown. Maybe you can also use something like Docker or even Kubernetes, where updates are simple calls that pull a new image version and restart your pods. But if that's not how you do things, then I guess shell scripts and cron jobs are a valid way to do things. And yes, we all get busy with life, or life gets busy with us. So everything that doesn't depend on you spending active thought or even action is a good thing. Again, join us on qa.monospacementor.com to ask your questions. No account required, no email getting collected. Just post your question anonymously there, and I'll pick it up here on stream, because that's what the office hour is for. Let's post that again. I need to automate that too. And I'm actually doing that at the moment by having my Stream Deck connected to a Windows VM of all things, because that enables me to use the original Elgato software for the Stream Deck, and that has a few advantages over Deckmaster, which I'm using on Linux usually. So today I'm trying out running my Stream Deck off a Windows VM that runs on my Proxmox server. And I simply plugged it in there, passed in the USB device to the VM, and so far it's been working nicely, because all the stuff that my Stream Deck needs to talk to goes over the network. It talks to Home Assistant over the network, it talks to OBS over the network, and it even talks to Atom, my stream automation application, over the network. That actually works quite nicely. The only downside is I'll have to have a login open on that VM. So at the moment I'm running a RDP session from my Linux machine here that keeps a connection to the Windows VM, because as soon as I log out or close the RDP connection, the Stream Deck application gets closed down as well, which is a little bit annoying. I need to find a way around that. Another question is, have you worn wigs? No, I'm quite happy that I still have plenty of hair, even at my age. Well, it's graying, but there is still a lot of it left. So, so far I have not worn wigs. My work switched to SharePoint. Condolences. We used Confluence for our wiki. Double condolences. They are trying to say SharePoint will be a wiki replacement. I disagree. I'm completely demotivated to use a crappier tool. How to deal? Oh dear. Now this is turning into a therapy session. I feel your pain. I do. I did use Confluence for a while because, of course, if you have an IT organization, regardless if it's small or big, you need documentation, you need a central place where people leave their knowledge and share their knowledge. And so we've been trying a lot of solutions over the years. I've been running my current business for 13 years now, and even in my previous one as a corporate IT manager, I dealt with documentation and these things. That's actually what got me into using Drupal, and which then later on led to me founding a managed hosting business that is specialized in hosting high-performance Drupal and WordPress websites. So documentation is close to my heart. And of course, we did try Confluence for a while as well, but we weren't quite happy with it. But I guess it was decent and did the job. I don't have any personal experience with SharePoint, to be honest. So one thing that you could do is actually asking them for a little bit of proof for that claim that SharePoint is a better wiki than Confluence is. Maybe we are both just missing something that is amazing and would actually be an upgrade. But yeah, if they can't come up with something concise, then it'll definitely at least confirm for you that they're just spewing bullshit. Just thinking about the scenario and how I would deal with that. Luckily, even at my corporate job, we had I think it was a DokuWiki as our wiki platform, so that was at least decent. I didn't have to deal with any Microsoft things. I'm afraid I would end up biting the bullet, to be honest, because as I said, the most important thing is that you have a central place where people can save knowledge and retrieve knowledge. And in the end, it doesn't really matter what solution that is, if it's a collection of markdown files in a GitHub repository or if it's a full-grown document platform. So if there's no way around it, and as was mentioned in chat, of course, management doesn't owe you any explanations or even proof. If it's just mandated, the only thing you can do is love it, change it, or leave it. If you don't love it and you don't have the organizational power to change it, the only thing is to leave it, I guess. And as I was alluding to, and chat seems to agree, replacing Confluence for SharePoint is being between a rock and a hard place. So sorry not to have a recipe for happiness here. Maybe you'll just have to practice acceptance in that case. Continuing the previous topic, will I wear wigs? No, I don't think so. I think I'd rather go bald than wear any wigs. You're really trying to make me regret making this anonymous, right? I think I also answered that question already. That question already got answered by the community. Thank you for that. I did say that it's fun to have these live streams where people can participate, and it's more fun that way. I still think that. Easy game, easy life. Hey yo, how you doing? I'm not going to be debated to watching that live, but I will archive that for later. Duke wrote, we actually implemented our own wiki system into our in-house ERP solution using a Vue front-end, PHP on the back. That's an interesting technology stack there. Using a WYSIWYG markdown editor there to make it easier for non-dev people to use since it's a general-purpose wiki. Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds like a very inventive solution. Yeah, of course, TBD Gamer. You and I have been in that game for a while, so... let's see. There was a thought that I wanted to get over as well. Yeah, I was just going to tell you what we are using, actually.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Fly it is. Welcome to the stack. Thank you for following. At my company, we are using a bunch of markdown files in a GitHub repository, and we actually have introduced Obsidian as our editing front end. So the note-taking software Obsidian, which both my business partner and I had been using for note-taking anyway. The thing is, with Obsidian, you can add a few more features that aren't included in plain old Markdown. For example, page-to-page links. And so having that Obsidian flavored Markdown, with Obsidian basically as the editing and viewing front end, makes things very easy to use. And we still use a central Git repository to track our changes. And should for some reason Obsidian shit the bed and we have to abandon that, we'll be left with our Markdown files, which we can still maintain with any editor we want, even with the GitHub web UI. And so this is a very robust and reliable solution. And it's also very convenient because Obsidian itself provides us with editing capabilities, with a good search and indexed search, things like that, and lots of plugins that make maintaining these Markdown files a lot easier. And so I think that's a really good solution, at least for a small team, if that's possible. If you can basically equip your team with some kind of an convenient editor, but use plain Markdown files in the end, in the back end, basically, I think that's definitely a good solution. Another question alluding to my location here in Ireland. Have I seen the Banshees of Inisherin? No, I haven't yet. I actually was curious a few weeks ago. I think during my downtime over the holidays, I watched a few minutes of the start of the movie, but I don't think I even had the time to watch the whole movie. And I'm not too excited about it because I don't think the genre is something that hits home for me. I'm more of a casual TV viewer, and if I have some downtime and some time left to sit in front of another screen again, I usually watch more fun stuff like Star Trek Lower Decks or something like that. So I'm not sure how much of a push I need to actually watch Banshees of Inisherin, but I guess I should, because there is some relevance here for me. Question back, did you watch it, and is it something you would recommend? That's a great question to the CTO. If you were to start over with your hosting service, would you use the same stack? So the higher level stack is pretty much dictated by our specialization in Drupal and WordPress, which means we need to be running some kind of a PHP application platform. So I guess PHP and MySQL are pretty much a given. Everything else that we are running in terms of services comes also with the territory. So we need things like Memcached, Redis, Solar, all these things. That wouldn't change because that couldn't change. That's pretty much mandated by the software we're running. The underlying stack, of course, is from today's perspective by now a little bit outdated. So running bare metal servers or containers, in our case Linux containers, LXC containers, and cloud instances as well, all managed by configuration management software like Chef, is not the way you would go about things today. You would probably use an orchestration platform like HashiCorp Nomad or Kubernetes to do the underlying automation. And that's exactly what I'm aiming at. We will definitely do some experiments and test balloons using Kubernetes this year. And let's talk next year where we've ended up and where we are migrating our legacy platform to. I'm excited to see the answer as well. What's a piece of tech or software you are excited about? Can be work related or not? Let me think. What am I excited to get tested or started? There are definitely a few things, but I can't think of any of them at the moment. Do I have a note in my Obsidian notes about these things? Unfortunately not. I should have one. And the problem is I am using a lot of software in my day-to-day, and I'm really happy with many of those, but I'm so used to them that when the question comes, I can't come up with an answer. But what I find myself repeating over and over is how excited I'm about my Linux distribution. I'm using Fedora Silverblue, particularly the distribution images from Universal Blue, or UBlue for short. They are creating great OCI container images that can be used with Fedora Silverblue and installed as the operating system. And what the guys around George Castro do, or the folks, I have to say, around George Castro do at Universal Blue. PDEX47, hello, thank you for your follow. What they do is bundle more software than comes with vanilla Fedora Silverblue, and so they come with current NVIDIA drivers and a lot of helpful software like DistroBox, things like that. So if you haven't tried out an immutable Linux distribution, as they are called, not sure if that name is going to stick, but for the time being, that's the name they have. So if you haven't tried out one yet, I highly recommend doing that. I'm so happy about how stable my host operating system is, because it's basically, it doesn't get changed. I installed a dozen or so additional packages on top of what comes with the distribution, because that are very particular things that I want to have. But other than that, it's just the plain operating system, and that doesn't get changed, because all the stuff that I need to install goes either into Container Toolbox, which runs an arbitrary distribution in a Docker container, or Podman container to be more precise, where I can install anything I want, or it gets installed as a GUI application using Flatpak. And both don't impact the host operating system, and I thoroughly enjoy the stability the host operating system gets from this approach. If you have any further questions on that topic, leave them on the QA platform, qa.monospacementor.com. Intel versus AMD, in terms of using in server environments, what do you prefer and why? Also, normal Core, Ryzen or Xeon Epic. For the workloads we use, we have, I think the AMD Ryzen platform is the best, because we get a lot of threads that Linux then can distribute between processes, but we don't have that kind of high concurrency that would require something like an Epic platform. We simply use bare metal servers where we need raw performance. So, for example, for database machines, especially for our enterprise clusters, we use bare metal machines on which we run MySQL directly. And those MySQL instances do between 10 and 20,000 queries per second, which is enough for us. And that's just a normal AMD Ryzen 7 or something like that. And since we don't seem to go beyond that kind of power, we usually don't use Epics. But we do use Xeons if we have to use the Intel platform. With Hetzner, our data center of choice, usually the AMD-based systems have a lower price per core when you get AMD. So that's what we usually go with. Let me catch up with Twitch chat as well. RJ mentioned you can write your own plugins for Obsidian too. That's true. So far, I didn't think of doing that, to be honest. Yes, the advantage of Obsidian being based on Electron is that if you are able to write JavaScript, you can actually easily write your own plugins. The plugin interface of Obsidian is great, and thanks to that, the community plugin ecosystem for Obsidian is awesome. And so far, I was always able to find a community plugin that would fit my needs. I've even started to do my own personal task tracking in Obsidian now. I don't use any to-do application anymore. I simply have notes with tasks that get collected by the tasks plugin and displayed wherever I need them to, which works surprisingly well, to be honest. Stupak says, I really liked the Banshees of Inisherin. I think it may mean more to you because you have more understanding of the history. Okay, so I'll set aside 2 or 3 hours to watch that in the near future. RJ asked, what about an immutable distro excites you? I kind of answered that already. It's simply the stability the host operating system has. I don't have to fear that upgrades will break my particular setup or get in conflict with stuff that I have installed additionally, because on the host level, I almost do not have installed anything additionally. So that's what makes this whole thing so reliable. Everything that I do install is isolated and compartmentalized in either toolbox containers, distrobox containers, or Flatpak sandboxes. So that's really nice. Duke wrote a longer post that saw to the complete opposite first. 2 people in IT, and Duke is one of them. 450 plus employees, and kind of don't spend a lot on buying or continuously licensing software. That's a very frugal approach to things, huh? Rather go with things that can be used self-hosted, on-premise, and are free open source, or have one-time license costs that don't depend on the amount of users you have. Yeah, that's very smart. Going for a job change in the very soon future because it's dead end for Duke after 5 years. That's understandable. Keep us posted how much you are missing your previous job once you've changed. And best of luck finding something. Prince Mike, welcome to the stack. Good to have you. Thank you for the follow. Talking and talking, I need to hydrate. And Tweety Verdi 777 said, hi, hello, happy Friday to you too. Duke wrote, indeed, and no time or actual job benefits for like bonus pay, employer-supported training and stuff, doing basically everything related to IT. Really would just want to focus on web development. That's some of the main reasons why I finally realized I need to have a change of scenery career-wise. Yeah, I can understand that. Looking for greener pastures. Makes sense. And being one of 2 people carrying the whole IT is also a very mixed bag. I could see myself enjoying that because you basically have free reign over things, and it's easy to find agreement over things if there's just one other person who ideally is on the same wavelength. But of course, it can also be very stressful and maybe even limit when you are able to take time off and things like that. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword, certainly. Another question in this office hour, which containerization and virtualization method do you prefer? LXC, LXD, LXC Snap version, Podman or other. It's mostly Podman, to be honest. And that's also something that I learned only after switching to Fedora Silverblue, because it comes with Podman by default, and you simply symlink the Docker command to the Podman command, and you're done with it. Since I'm a very open source minded person, I do prefer Podman over Docker and other container runtimes. One of the main maintainers of Podman also is from Ireland. That's another plus. Yes, I do prefer Podman if I have the choice. If it's about running stuff in a production environment where I wouldn't be able to run Podman, I would probably prefer running something like Docker with a management system, like, for example, Portainer. And if it needs to be something more sophisticated, then I'd probably choose Kubernetes. Ooh, someone saw my grey beard and is asking, have you ever spent days with building your own Linux from scratch or setting up Gentoo, compiling everything from sources on a very old machine like Pentium 2, 3 and such, where compiling the kernel literally takes over 24 hours? I did not use Gentoo. I always heard of it, and I simply didn't see the need to subject myself to such torture, such as waiting for my whole distribution to get recompiled over 24 or even more hours. However, I did start using Linux in 1993. So you can look up what CPUs were in use back then, and oftentimes you had to compile stuff while distributions did already come with their own package management solutions. Most of the open source software that was published didn't release packages, and so the holy trifecta of /configure, make, and make install was pretty common, and so compiling stuff was daily business and still took quite a while, even if not 24 hours. I'm pretty much used to starting a compilation and then go away doing something else and returning, hoping to see a success message, oftentimes, of course, only finding an error message because some kind of a library wasn't installed or something like that, and then doing the whole dance over again. So yeah, I know how it is having to compile stuff on old machines, but never something as tedious like Gentoo. It's 3 o'clock, which is the official end of this office hour, but we are still going. So if you have any questions, post them on qa.monospacementor.com. It's free, it doesn't require an account or anything, you can post anonymously. You can even ask me about hairy topics, and that's what we do here during the Monospace office hour. I have the advantage of not having to prepare anything except being prepared to be asked about my hair. And Sweet Radish, welcome to the stack. It's good to have you. A new question appeared. How do you ensure employees stay motivated? Rule number 1, don't do stuff that demotivates people. Which is harder than you might imagine, because it's not only about the obvious stuff like fighting unions or eliminating paid time off and things like that. Oftentimes it's just your personal behavior that might actually demotivate people. And I often caught myself over my career where I realized what I did just did, or what I did yesterday, or what I did last week was really, really stupid. Because it set a wrong example, or I only realize later that that person did expect a completely different response from me, and I just didn't realize, or I completely missed the mark with my answer or with my behavior, because I didn't think enough. So stuff like that also tends to demotivate people. If your boss or even your colleague, if you're on the same level, does stuff that seems innocuous at first, it still might have impacts that you didn't anticipate. So taking some time to reflect from time to time and thinking, was that correct? Or was that the right reaction, the right response, is something that I got used to over time, and being more cautious with how I deal with stuff. Sometimes just because you can get away with it because you're the superior doesn't mean that it doesn't have any impact on other people. Another thing that that sounds more obvious than it is make sure to recognize the achievements of people. Even though people get paid to deliver results, that doesn't mean that you should take these results for granted. And making sure that you recognize the effort that led to a specific result is an important management ability. I know it says often employers think that just increasing salary a little can motivate people, which is sad. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a saying, people don't quit companies, they quit managers. And I think that's true. And Carl says, being in a position of power carries responsibility. That should be obvious as well, and amazingly, it doesn't seem to be. If you look at how managers act sometimes. I mean, just take the whole back to office movement. That boggles my mind. As a manager, you're documenting your own inability to do results-based management if you have to call people back into the office just so that you can supervise them and make sure that they are doing what they are getting paid for. Since when is counting butts in chairs a management skill? This is a complete mystery to me, and the only explanation I have is that the pressure by office landlords is so high that they are able to convince higher management to call their people back to the office, so just to secure that the office lease will persist for the coming years. Chocolate lasagna, which is an amazing name and makes me hungry, I think, and a little bit sick, says this feels ironic watching at work. Yeah, maybe don't turn the speaker up too loudly.
It's a Unix system.
And thanks for the follow. I note, dropping another truth, often managers are more incompetent than the workers, and this is shocking too. Yep, definitely. Unfortunately, that is also sometimes due to career management failures, especially when I was employed in the end of the 90s and into the 2000s. I was at places where the only way to earn a higher salary was to go from individual contributor to management. And that's a complete change in skills and responsibilities, and that should never be the only way to get ahead in terms of a career or in terms of salary, because that's just as weird as saying, if you want to get more, a higher salary, you need to switch from computer science or from IT to microbiology. That's the same thing as saying, you need to switch to management. That's very unfortunate, Chocolate Lasagna. My manager is just a programmer in its shows, never realized how valuable proper management is until working here. Which might make you a better manager in the future. I mean, learning from bad experience is not pretty, but it might be helpful. Duke wrote, demotivated employee, kind of me right now. Just being as introverted as I am, I'm not as loud about it at work. Yeah, I can relate. Introvert here too. And I really kind of dislike it since it downs my productivity and want to be decently productive. See, that is one of the main problems, and I'll get back to that in a second, but let me just read that to the end. Master plan, job change, as I don't see stuff becoming better to the point where I'd be happy to stick around where there are countless IT job opportunities with a lot more benefits and perspectives available. Yeah, I guess you basically already have quit. Did you literally quit already and are looking for something? At least you have done that quiet quitting. That's, I think, the most tragic result of bad management. It makes people stop enjoying their own passion, something that they chose because they actually do it, they enjoy doing it. And I think there's a point of no return. There might be a point of no return when you find yourself so thoroughly demotivated and your own job is not enjoyable anymore, and you're just doing it for the paycheck. And at one point you find yourself doing just delivering shoddy work, and it might even get you fired. And then you ask yourself, why is that? Why does the thing that I enjoyed to learn and then enjoyed making my profession is just a chore? And that might also have serious mental health issues as a consequence. So I think, bad managers really do not only destroy the productivity and the viability of their own business, they might even destroy people, and that's really, really tragic. As confirmed by Chocolate Lasagna there, 100% on cruise control at my job because it's a joke. Do applications at work and write 3 lines of code a day. Go home and work on actual projects. Yeah, so another quiet quitter. Not quiet critter, but quiet quitter. This username not exist. Hello, welcome to the stack. How can one architect and optimize a scalable, fault-tolerant distributed system using Ruby, taking into account considerations just as load balancing, data consistency, and fault recovery strategies? you are describing my business. That's 100% what I've done. I'm not sure if that's the joke, but yeah, I'm amazed how concise you put that, which I've done over the last 13 years. And how do you do it? Step by step would be my answer. That's really hard to answer in a thorough or helpful way, I think. Maybe you can, if you're interested in a more helpful answer, maybe you can elaborate a little bit and maybe give me a hint of what you are actually looking for at the moment. What's your actual issue, or what are you struggling with at the moment? I know to change the subject to hobbies. What do you guys have as a hobby not related to computers? I play guitar, for example. I do actually not only have a soft spot in my heart for computer keyboards, but also for keyboard-based instruments. So I can play pretty much everything that has a black and white keyboard, starting from small MIDI keyboards. I got one here in the back. Up to pianos, even up to church organs. And yeah, I still do enjoy that. I started at age 10, learning to play the organ. And from there, I, of course, went on to synthesizers in my teens. And yeah, taught myself to play piano as well. And yeah, that's something that I definitely enjoy as well. And it's a nice outlet for a kind of creativity that I can't practice in my IT job. Stubak plays pinball. Interesting. Do you have a pinball at home? Pinball machine? Chocolate Lasagna says, nice, I'm doing Perl at work. That's not too bad. I did Perl for years and I really enjoyed it. And I think that paved the way to me enjoying Ruby as well. I actually wrote a book about Perl myself back when I was teaching programming in Germany. Called Perl Meisterkurs, which means Perl Master Course, training for the black belt in Perl. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. I did that training quite a few times, and yeah. Chocolate Lasagna demonstrating that classic rock knowledge. Nice one. People doing a lot of music around here. That's nice. But that actually, I've come to think that music and stuff like computer science, mathematics are very related. At least Western music, with its easy meters. I mean, people that come from a more polyrhythmic background, like India or Asia, might disagree, but. Western music really sounds very mathematical to me. even to the scales where an octave is exactly double the frequency and things like that. And there's, of course, gaming. A hobby of mine is also playing World of Warcraft. I have only little time during the week, but it's enough to spend 2 evenings with my guild doing raids, and that's a lot of fun as well. It's a little different kind of social contact, and I do enjoy that. Unfortunately, our raid last night was cancelled because of lack of participants. Otherwise, we would have tackled the current end boss of the raid on heroic level, but I'm looking forward to doing that next week. Fyrak needs to die. Chocolate Lasagna wrote, awesome book, thank you. It's rough because it's a 2000s advertising company that resisted change for 25 years and is slowly dying. Yeah, that is heartbreaking. Hard to get excited every day when they ask you to actively write your code poorly for the sake of consistency. Oh dear. Yeah. B. Theo, hello, welcome to the Stack, mate. How are you doing? How has your Friday gone so far? I hope you're having a great time. I am. Officially, I have the day off. It's my company's FFF Friday today, which means Family, Friends and Fun Friday. We get the last Friday of the month off to do stuff that is fun and relaxing, a little bit of a longer weekend. Even though I have done a little bit of work today, especially for my side business as the Monospace mentor. But yeah, so far it has been a very relaxed day, and this also has been a very relaxed office hour, which I'll have to wrap up soon, I'm afraid. But yeah, having a great time. Pen test report writing. Hope everything was successful. I note mentioning the Monospace Discord, to which you are very welcome if you'd like to join a community of friendly DevOps people. This is definitely something that's worth trying out. Give us a visit and see if you don't want to stay and hang out. And there's another question. Irish beer versus German beer. Which do you prefer more and why? If you don't drink beer, think of something else that you would have a comparison between the countries. I actually, that question just brought to mind that my taste in beer is similar to my taste in music. It's not very particular. I have a lot of stuff that I enjoy listening to in terms of genres. It might be progressive rock, it might be trance, and basically almost everything in between, depending on my mood and my current state of mind, things like that. And I think it's the same with beer. I do enjoy a pint of Guinness. But I also thoroughly enjoy a German Weizen. And lately I've been mostly drinking IPAs, so that's neither Irish specifically or German. But I like the hoppy taste that IPAs have, and there's so much variety also. And variety is something that you usually do not get as much in Germany because of their purity law, where in order to sell something as a beer, you need to fit very limited criteria or limiting criteria. So you won't see any German beverage that is labeled as a beer but consists of, say, something like a IPA and mango juice, which is also something that can be interesting and have interesting flavors and things like that. So I do enjoy the variety that is available to me here in Ireland, being it local beers like Stout, best represented by Guinness, I guess, and other beers as well. Carl says, I found that German beer rarely gives me a headache after. That probably depends on the amount of beer you're going to have. I had many of headaches after German beers. But that's probably the upside of having that purity law. They can't do they can't put stuff into the beer that causes headaches, like sugar or things like that. Duke says, Lausitzer Porter is a nice dark beer, can recommend. I'll have to try that when I have the opportunity. It does sound nice. And I do like dark beers. Well, I guess that's as good as a point to end on as any. That was a great office hour, even a office hour and almost a half. And the beer that I most enjoy is the live beer, says iNode. I tend to agree, I guess. So yeah, thank you for dropping by, having questions, having answers in chat. I saw you had some good conversations about job satisfaction and things like that. So yeah, that's definitely the purpose of the office hour. Let me see if there is a streamer online that we can raid. If I can find the right button here. What's happening? Okay, it's confusing that my face is in various places here. So let's see, that didn't work as I wanted. One more try. Now that worked. Let me see. Wow, none of the people I'm following is online. That is very surprising, but it is what it is. Do any of you have a suggestion who we could raid? Togglebit? Is he still online? Why is... Ah, okay. Now I've reloaded the page and there are quite a few. Okay, let's see. Yes. Well, let's return the favor and raid Enhan Codes. She raided me, I think yesterday, so we'll return the favor. And to you, I wish a very pleasant weekend. I hope to see you next week for my live coding streams. And until then, take care. Whoops.